Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Jorgensen. Today it's Sunday, and we've got on Friday last week we got this Excalibur in the workshop, which we're gonna rebuild the rear axle on, and we started on it on Friday. Got the rear axle out of the car on Friday, and just cleaned it up, and so that we could start working on it. As I said, it's Sunday today, and I just wanted to get a head start on this upcoming week because we've been very busy, and we still are very busy. So just to get a head start, we're just going to start on this today. So there you have it. Took it out on Friday. Someone has done work to it before. Don't know who and don't know when. But if you can hear it, right? Doesn't sound too good. So definitely something going on in here. So got this done on Friday. Got the pinion in the freezer because I think it's a lot easier working with the pinion when that's cold, and just put a little bit of heat to these bearings, not too much, but it's a lot easier to slide them on if they're warmer than the pinion itself. When taking things apart, I always like to use my time and inspect things and clean it thoroughly, so it's easier to inspect it as we go along. Well, you probably can't hear it, but I can certainly feel it. And yeah, here, something's definitely wrong in here because it barely moves. So we'll just take this off and see what we can find. Probably a bearing that's gone bad due to improper mounting. And yeah. For loosening the nut on the main yoke, I used an air impact wrench. The battery driven impact wrench didn't make it. Yeah, and as you see, when I'm taking it off, I'm using tools to take it off so I don't have to hammer it off. Makes a lot less stress on the part, I think. You see now how easy it comes off when I use the correct tool. What I'm doing now is just removing the seal for the main yoke, and that's just me hammering it off, and we've got a new one to put on afterwards. So
just going to replace this one with the new one we've got. So I'm not really
careful with it when I'm taking it off, but when we're putting it back together, we need to have a look at it and clean it thoroughly and yeah, use some caution. So I just took this over to my hydraulic press and got it out. You probably can't see it on the film, but it's worn and it doesn't seem to have any shims or anything. So we'll just see what we can do with the new parts and the shims, and we'll set it up properly and put the proper amount of tension on it and get it back together with new parts. Just need to do a lot of cleaning and yeah, inspection before we start putting new parts into it. To get the bearing face out of the rear end, I just use a sledgehammer and a driver to hammer it out. Works just fine. And we'll use some more caution when we put them back in. There's two of them in there, and one of them goes out the one way and the other one goes out the other way. So I have to turn the rear end around to get to the other one. The old ring and pinion is out, and as you can see, the surface down here, it's not too good, so it's time to be changed out. It's got a lot of pitting in it, and yeah, it's pretty worn. Just cleaned out the housing of the rear end. I got new bearings and new seals. You got to put new seals on each side and in the front. And the old one is down here. So we'll just wait until the new bearings are cold, and then we'll put them in. So in the set that I bought, there's a lot of shims, and which is supposed to go in between the bearing and the pinion. We have to measure out the clearance between. Let's see if you can see it. To get these set the proper way, we have to do some measurements and install it with regards to the correct pinion depth, and then we'll see if we can get this correct. But first of all, I put the bearing, the face of the new bearings, I put them in the freezer so then they get smaller, and it's easier to put them in at the end of, well, one's going in here and the other one's going the opposite direction. So if I freeze these down and heat this just barely, just a little bit, they're just going to slide in easy, and we don't have to hammer them in. So that's the way I prefer to do it. So yeah, we've put the pinion in, had it in and out several times to get the correct measurements, and I used 2 of these shims. That was the correct distance I needed to have. That gave me the correct distance that I needed to have. And then also, I got a lot of shims for shimming up each end on this one. I used one of the old shims, and then I got a bunch of new shims. So on one side I ended up using the original, or the one that was put in there originally, and I used a total of 3 of these shims to get the correct measurements. And all that's left to do is put it all the way back together and clean it thoroughly and clean the counterpart, and we should be good to go tomorrow morning. It came with this gear marking compound. Wasn't really much in there, but I got it done with some stuff I had from earlier. So I'm satisfied. The gears are looking good and it turns real good. No sound. Yeah, so we'll just get it, the rest of it put back together, and we're ready for putting it back into the car tomorrow. A lot of shims left over, and but I'll save them for another day, because it's always great to have some extra shims whenever we do. Well, that's us all done Sunday afternoon, and we got it rebuilt, ready for Monday morning tomorrow. And I didn't put a lot of instructional content on how to shim the ring and pinion. There's a lot of it out there on YouTube that probably does it a lot better than I do. But it's just more like a video for entertainment. And if you want to see how basically the work that goes on with rebuilding this, shimming of the pinion and solar wheel, or whatever you call it, folio, we call it in Norwegian. That's a hassle, I think. It's time consuming, and I spent hours on it, just to mention that. So, and as I mentioned, there's a lot of instructional videos on YouTube that does a better job than me on showing you how to do it. So yeah. This is how it looks right now. And we'll just leave it there for tomorrow. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to share it, I'd appreciate it. And as always, you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you in the next one.